Behind the Beard by Aaron the Mastermind.
Yo, 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 what they do, what they do. I'm your host, Aaron J. Jackson. I'm here with Reggie, also known as Leo. For the people that don't know who you are, introduce yourself.
Uh, Real name is Reginald O'Neal. Artist name Leo. It's an acronym for Love Each Other. From Overtown-Miami, Florida. Painter, musician, filmmaker, I guess. Poet, I guess.
Yeah, you do a lot of things, man.
Yeah. 26 years old. I don't know, man. I don't know what else to say. It's a lot. That's about it.
So, you say you from Overtown, Miami, Florida. For the people that don't know, it's a town down here close to downtown Miami, in Miami. Talk about growing up in my Overtown, and talk about like the politics behind Overtown. For the people that don't know.
Growing up there was amazing, man, because we had an amazing childhood. We played football, basketball, sometimes baseball in our field. It was really, really big community. People I went to school with, I knew my whole life. I've been going to school with them since elementary school. Rather if you came from the other side of the neighborhood or not, I still like kind of knew everybody. And just like from going to elementary and then going to high school where it's a bigger place and then more people coming in from other sides of the town and shit. Still knowing who they is from going to football games and all of this other shit. So it's a really big community, I would say, inside of my neighborhood. Like people who I knew my whole life. It was a great experience, I think, growing up. Really. I mean, it's like people talk about like the gun violence and all this other shit, but that's not all we about. You know what I mean?
And I feel like Overtown, my bad to cut you off, but Overtown, I feel like Overtown, it's like every time I'm in Overtown, it's like a family. It's like a family-oriented like town to me.
Yeah, it's a bubble. So, like, we marinated a lot. Like our culture just marinated from like the segregation days and stuff like that. So, it's very rich in culture when it comes to that. And yeah, we are a big family. Like there has never been like some crazy beef between like towns or whatever. We like have some shit, but like it'll like get squashed like pretty like soon. And just everybody's just good, man. Everybody know each other. Like I said, we grew up with each other. Like really, just like even if it's a nigga from down the street, I just know who he is, and like I know his whole family. But I probably never had a conversation with him. You know what I mean? But I seen him my whole life.
It's a small world.
It's your extended family, so it's like a bubble. Like I'm saying, like I don't know too many people from like Liberty City. I ain't watch a lot of people grow up from Liberty City, but I'm pretty sure somebody from Liberty City. Seen a lot of people grow up from Liberty City. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially Liberty City. Like, even though Liberty City is more kind of bigger than Overtown,
it is.
But it's like for some reason every time I do, like I could go like, I say in the 40s, so I could go like in the 60s. They'll probably know my family for some reason. Exactly. It's like, oh boy, you know, man, that's my cousin. It's just so small. But that's like, I feel like it's everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In the black community.
Yeah, it's a part of like your home base. No, if you grow up in a place for 20 plus years, of course you're gonna know the ins and outs of it, and you're gonna know all the people that come through there. You're gonna know who moved there, who just moved in your neighborhood, or whatever. But that's because you got a close eye view on your entire neighborhood. So I think that's what it is.
How you feel about the gentrification of Overtown?
It's sad as fuck, bro. To be honest, because you see it happen.
Yeah. Like
unlike Wynwood, I don't think nobody's seen it really happening, like that. You know what I mean? But watching how it happened, how it affected Wynwood, and just watching like little spots pop up in Overtown, it's like shit. Like it's like a slow burn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't really fuck with it like that. It's just like I'm thinking about the future, like how I'm gonna show my kids and like people who are gonna come after me what used to be. You know what I mean?
But you know, I'm glad that we do what we do because like your artwork right here and all the multiple artwork and your murals, you could show your kids like this is like a glimpse of what it kind of is Overtown, but it's like probably like a small percentage of what you could show them. You know what I'm saying?
Because you can't give them a feeling. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You can't make them see a bunch of like. You can't make them see like the attitude that people have towards you because they knew you grow up. They knew you grew up there and they've been staying there for their entire life, and just that family feel, and they just like, oh, this your son or this your people or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna go over there in the future and people ain't gonna know who the fuck I am, and this is where I've been raised at my entire life. So just that feeling is you can't give to somebody. Yeah. And I think that's the sad part about the gentrification. It's not only that they're taking our community away, it's that they're taking like something that's super dear to us. You know what I mean? It's like somebody taking a home that you lived in for 30 plus years and your family lived in it 30 plus years before you. You know what I mean? That you hold value to that, and by them taking that away, it's just like, shit, what do I have now? You know what I mean? You got to relocate. So
I always feel like Overtown is like the Harlem of Miami for some reason. Yeah. And I feel like Overtown don't get enough credit that it deserves in that sense. And also I feel like even though we got like little museums there like around Overtown and stuff, I feel like it should be like more for some reason.
I think it comes from, I don't know, man. It's because of like what we had before was stripped. You know what I mean? Like by you saying it was the Harlem of the South or the Harlem of Miami, it got stripped from us. Yeah. So it left us with a lot of like poverty and like drug infested and crime infested like stuff's going on. So people don't really appreciate it that much. So all we have is just like really, just like what's kind of left over, and that's our culture that's now. But people have their own perspective of us. Like they think that we're dirty and we're this and that, and we're part of this like crime infested place, but it's not necessarily that. We still rich in culture, it's just a different way. So
I feel like a lot of like us as black people, we just know how to survive. We just know how to do many things. Like if you look past like years and years, we know how to dress. We know how to do many things. And you look at what it is society today, half of the stuff that's going on today, we've been doing that, but we did that like effortlessly. Like, it was like nothing.
I think that comes with that shit's just in our genes. I think like we always been making nothing out of something. You know what I mean? Rather the little bit that they give us, we make the best out of it, and then we wear it with so much confidence, or we do it with so much confidence, and it's really all we have. So we put a lot of emphasis on it, and then whatever comes out of that, it becomes beautiful. You know what I mean? In our own way, but we just think that this is nothing, but everybody else around us is just like, holy shit. Yeah. And they appreciate it in a different perspective because they don't have that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I remember wearing the fucking FUBUs at Marshall's, like, you know, when FUBU, like the later years, like early 2000s, mid 2000s. Yeah. When I like, my grandma couldn't afford certain things, so I was just like, man, she said, either we going to the thrift store or we going to the or Marshalls or Ross. And at that time, like, man, I ain't trying to wear that, but it's like, I gotta wear what I gotta have.
Gotta do whatever it is you gotta do.
Exactly. South Pole, the little famous shirts. I had to, man, and I just see certain shit now. I'm like, damn, boy. Right. I remember that time when I was wearing the South Pole, when I was wearing the FUBUs. You know what I'm saying? It's so crazy because kids used to get really picked on that. Yeah. And you know, you look at certain people that's wearing it today that probably was picking on the kids that was wearing that.
Exactly. So that is a perspective on like how America looks at black people.
Exactly.
Like they look at us like we're beneath and whatever it is, and still do to this day some people. And it's just like, look at hip hop, look at jazz music, look at fashion. It's like they picked on us, but they're stealing from our culture. Exactly. You know what I mean?
And back then, used to call it urban.
Yeah, exactly. It used to be called urban, but it's just like they're doing the shit that we're doing. You know what I mean? They're trying to catch up to us when we are quote unquote beneath them or whatever it is, beneath society. It's just like, it's like being bullied or being picked on.
Yeah,
it's the same shit.
And you know, so crazy. Like our homie Leonidas, he was in New York with Margot, and he went to, I forgot what brand. I don't want to say the wrong name, but them flea market days when you used to see like them Tupac shirts and
Right.
the like Snoop Dogg shirts with the weed plants and all that.
Yeah.
And then you see the bigger brands selling those
Right.
shirts
Mhm.
for $100.
Right.
And it's like, we could go to the flea market to this day and
Right.
get that for like $20.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's crazy how like the perception had just changed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it just give me the chill sometimes.
Right. But I think that shit is something that we shouldn't even be getting mad about. We should just be like, look at these niggas,
Yeah.
man. You know what I mean? Because they still trying to catch up to us.
Mhm.
That shit that we did so far back
Yeah.
that we passed. You know what I mean? And y'all trying to bring it back and make it hot and make it expensive. It's like, bro, we on to some other shit. Like,
Mhm.
but I think what happens a lot of the times is we allow them to steal from our culture. You know what I mean? Like, because we don't have a lot of ownership in our own shit.
Yeah, especially
So,
the community.
Yeah,
That'd be-
in our community, it's just like Overtown. Like, they script us from owning our own properties and shit like that, and then they come back and like gentrify it and then make it cool. It's
Yeah.
like, nah, nigga, this shit been cool.
Mhm.
Like, you just
It's a lifestyle.
yeah, it's what we got. It's
Mhm.
all we got, really.
So just kind of like tap into you now. When did you realize you have a passion for art, and when did you take it serious?
I really don't know when that realization came to part. I would say like 19 years old
Mhm.
or like 20. I think because I was boxing before and I quit boxing and I was just like, I'm gonna start drawing or whatever. And then I met a few people, but I wasn't never like, this is my passion. You know what I mean? This is what I'm gonna do. It's just something that I enjoy doing.
Mhm.
And at the same time, I was like rapping. I was rapping at the same time. So I was doing that, but I wasn't like, this is what I'm gonna be doing for the rest of my life or whatever it is, or I'm gonna take it serious.
Mhm.
It just came about
Organically.
yeah, organically, and I never thought of it to be where it's at now. You know what I mean? Like having my first solo show, I never had that in mind. So I just did shit I thought was cool, like what I like to do. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I like rapping. I like listening to music. I've been rapping since I was a kid. I've been drawing since I was a kid. I like my mom has she has all our old photos and shit, and like just laying around the house, and I used to go through them all the time. And it wasn't like, it's just like I'm passionate about photography.
Yeah,
like, it was
yeah.
just something that I liked. So
Mhm.
it was never a conscious, it's just a decision where I was like, this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, it's just and I like that. You know what I'm saying? Like even with like how you said the photography aspect, like it just came genuine. Like
Yeah.
I look back at, I don't know about you, but like when you were younger, like you're like maybe like middle school, even elementary, you used to look at movies
Mhm.
on the special features,
Right.
and then you just look at for instance, I used to look at a lot of old school pictures that used to just come up and whatever, and or even posters. I used to be like, damn, like who took that picture? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We didn't have the resources that we have
Right.
now, so it's
Right.
just like you just had that picture, and it's just like, man, I don't know how to do all that, but it's whatever. Like
Right.
you so used to sports and stuff
Right.
when we come up, so it's just like, man, I'm gonna stick with sports. But then as you get older, it's like, damn, I love photography or I love
Right.
art, and it
Right.
comes out naturally.
Right.
For some reason, it just come out naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just crazy how that happens.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of putting yourself in position and asking yourself those questions
Mhm.
sometimes. Also, just like trying shit out. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like if you try a bunch of shit out, you're gonna figure out what you like or not. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? But if you don't try anything, you stick to one thing, you ain't gonna never find out.
Yeah, especially at a
Um,
young age too.
Yeah, so or even not even a young age, just period. Like you can be fucking 50 years old and just got a divorce and you
True.
ain't tried shit your entire life. And you finally try like cooking or whatever,
Yeah.
and your husband never let you cook or
Mhm.
some shit like that. And then you really find a passion for it, and then you open up a restaurant, or you just be cooking for your friends and they like it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But it doesn't. As long as you on this earth, I think you got time to find out whatever it is that you like. So.
The perception of, especially in the black community, our parents is like, oh, you gotta do it right away when you get out of high
Right,
school.
right.
So like that perception, it's like, and that's one of the reasons I said young, because our parents or our grandparents said, "Oh, you got to do this now." I get their aspect too, because it's like as you get older, you get more responsibilities. But it's just like you still got to figure it out. Like I'm like in school, like them school years when you like elementary, middle, and high, you're still trying to figure out yourself as a kid. Like you can't just adapt and be like when you hit 18. Oh, I gotta go to school. I probably don't even know what I want to do, and then by the time I get to school, it's like I don't know what to do, and I'm scared.
They're making you decide at this moment. So like on a personal level of that, taken from that, it's just like when I went to college, I was like, I'm gonna do psychology. Mm-hmm. I never took a psychology class in high school. It was just this one teacher who was teaching psychology, and I thought I was interested into it. So I never really got to like psychology courses because I was taking remedial courses, and I took the courses and then I was doing bad in class, so I had to drop out, and then I had to pay for myself, and I ain't had no job, so I was just doing that back and forth. And while I was doing that, I was doing art and doing music and shit. So it's just like me trying to wing my way into figuring some shit out, and that's what got me to like picking art and whatever it is. It's just trying to figure it out rather than being like I'm gonna be a psychologist and like not really having a passion for it
and
just
enjoy it,
knowing it. You know what I mean? So I think that like parents being so hard on you or being so like urgent about like you doing something early is because they didn't have the time to think about it. Like my mom had me when she was 26. She had my brother when she was 21. Like so. She had 2 kids by the age of 26. I'm 26 now. I ain't got no kids, so I got space to think. You know what I mean?
It'd be so crazy because I'm turning 23 in August, and my mom had me when when she was 19. Right. My grandma had my mom when she was, I think, 20. Right. So it's just like I'm about to turn 23. Right. And I'm just like, boy,
nigga couldn't have had a jet. Right? You couldn't have had a jet.
Yeah, bro. Like I'm blessed. Like you know, not to complete that cycle. Like obviously, like my aunties, they had their situations. Right. But I'm just blessed, like, cause we the newer generation of the family. Right. So it's just like you trying to break that cycle down and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So who was your influences growing up? Like,
in what sense? Just in general?
Like in general. Because that could kind of conspire, like, that could kind of like help out into your artwork in the long run as well too.
I think my peers, bro. Like a lot of my peers and my friends, like my mom, my dad, my brothers, my brother, my big brother. And then, like, as far as, like, the art world, it was, I would say, like, Tupac was, like, really big influence on me. Yeah. Like, I used to watch this dude videos, like, nonstop. Wayne was a big influence. Andre and all of these people, they were big influences. But when I got into the art world, it was a bit different. Like, I didn't know nothing about it, so, like, kind of whoever I seen first was kind of an influence. Until I started digging for like other painters and shit like that. So it's just a lot of people. Kanye is a really big influence because of I respect like his quality control, and just the fact that he is doing a lot of shit and he's trying to do everything well. That's his attitude, not just doing shit just for the fuck of it. Yeah. Like, he's trying to do everything, like, whether it be the videos, he's being in control of everything. But he's trying to, like, get the best people to do it. Yeah. So, that's a really big thing of, like, me trying to, like, not keep myself in a box, you know what I mean? To say I can't do whatever it is. I think he was a really big influence.
Yeah, especially around that time, like, even when he first probably started, like, in the game. Like, around that time, that shit was not normal. You was always, like, stick to doing one thing, and that's it. Until, like, maybe a little bit, like, when graduation hit, that's when, like, I'm like, damn, he's, like, contributing not just to music. He's contributing to the artwork. He's contributing to everything in his music and his artistry. And I'm just like, damn. Like, you doing all that? Like, that kind of inspired me as well. Like, damn, okay, you in the music business, but I don't have to do music. I could get into this art thing,
Right.
especially where we
Exactly.
come from.
Exactly.
So
Like you can be a black kid from the projects, from the hood, and be a skateboarder
yeah,
and do music and rap about some hood ass shit.
Yeah.
But also do fashion and care about like Gucci. Like you can do whatever the
Yeah.
fuck you want. And I think
Pharrell too.
Pharrell. I wasn't like too big on Pharrell, like,
Mhm.
but I was like big on like Wayne and all of these other people like Jeezy and stuff like that not because of what I grew up around, but because me and my niggas used to talk about this shit
Yeah.
all the time. Like how when Wayne used to drop like projects and shit, we used to like literally listen to every project, every song, and like debate about it or whatever.
Mhm.
But I grew up around that, and then as I got older, I started dabbing into different shit. So that shit, just like seeing Kanye do whatever it is that he does, it's just like, man, I can do whatever it is I do. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Whatever it is I want to do.
And at that time, I like I said, and one thing I really do respect about Kanye as well is he kind of sacrificed for the young black kids in America or just the whole world, that you could just, no matter, it could be the gangsters nigga in the room,
Right.
you could still do that and
Right.
you feel comfortable. Because I remember that time when skinny jeans wasn't allowed,
Right.
like in the hood, like niggas used to try to pick on me
Right.
for wearing skinnies, or I'm skateboarding through the hood, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, like, this is what I'm into. Like, you
Right.
got no choice but to respect it. Just like I respect
Right.
you doing what you do.
Right.
Like,
But it
you got-
comes from a lack of understanding.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Like they're in the bubble.
Mhm.
Like I'm saying, and it doesn't mean that's a bad bubble. Like it's
Exactly.
not at all. It's just it's a matter of perspective.
Mhm.
It's like seeing it from a different perspective. Like, oh, there's other people that skate. Skating is a real world. Like where kids are in LA, and that's a really big skate
Yeah.
culture. But niggas from Miami don't see that, or like, not saying niggas from Miami, but some of your people in your circle and
Yeah.
your neighborhood don't see that, so they don't have that perspective.
Mhm.
So, but you have that perspective because you listen to LA music and you watch their videos and
Yeah.
see how they dress and see that niggas skate over there and all this other stuff, but they are not on that yet. So by you doing something that's different, that makes them be like, what the fuck are you doing? Because
Mhm.
they haven't seen it before.
And it's just crazy, you know, like we discussed earlier, Miami and Florida as a whole is the deep, deep South. So
Right.
we get everything kind of last.
Yeah.
So probably the shit that we was seeing was like, niggas didn't see that till like a year later.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, in New York as well too. So it's just crazy how like Florida gets everything last, pretty
Right.
much, in my opinion. I think
Right.
we get everything last. So,
Yeah.
how would you describe your art? And what's the message you try to interpret into your art?
How would I describe my art? It's is my bird's eye view on like my surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
Like since a kid, I was like an observer. Like I used to observe a lot. Like I remember being in high school, I used to sit like in lunch like by myself on a bench that's like way in the corner, and I used to just like watch people like in school. Like, and some of my friends would come over there a lot of times, but like for a year I was just there by myself, and I used to just like look at people, and I used to just think about them and whatever it is that they're doing. And after I got into like art, that just became like my narrative, just like being observant of my culture and stuff like that, and then trying to portray my culture in a way I feel like it's honest to them and honest to myself too. So I can, like, if I'm explaining about these kids growing up in this neighborhood, I can tap into myself and be like, how was it for me growing up in this neighborhood? So it's just like me painting a reflection on what I observed as a kid or what I observed as an adult or a teenager, and trying to put it into my art. And then also stuff that I learned about my culture and about Overtown or about African American shit. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. And just my perspective and my beliefs on shit, you know what I mean? I try to put a lot of that stuff, because as I observe, I come up with my own perspective and my own beliefs about what I think about certain things.
I feel like that's how you should approach any types of art. Like I feel like art is like a form of expression.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's more genuine. I feel like your best work comes with the art of expression of how you really feel. Like you could have a hiatus. How
What's
you
up,
doing?
man?
You could have a hiatus, but by you having a hiatus, you could really, when you really feel like you want to get back into what you want to do, you probably have your best work into the game or whatever. So, but I feel like your work is very personal. You know what I'm saying? So how do you approach, before you even like start painting, how do you approach, putting your work into a canvas?
At first, I think about what it is that I want to say, like, and who I want to say it to. First and foremost, like I can be talking about somebody's like story, and I can be like, all right, what is it so unique? What's so unique about their story? And like, whatever it is, it can be like a mother who's raising a kid by herself, and her husband is in jail or incarcerated, but she is having a hard time like raising her kid by herself, and then what goes on inside of that, and then I can be like, all right, this story needs to be told not only to the community and the neighborhood that she grew up in, but to people outside of the world, to give them a perspective on the type of life that she's living, and also the type of life that other women are living. And then I can try to come up with an image that can portray that, and then paint it, you know what I mean? And then like how it will feel and stuff like that when a person sees it and stuff like that. So all of that shit comes into play when it comes to like creating a body of work, you know what I mean? Or sometimes it just be like, I like this photo a lot, I want to try to paint this, and then why I'm painting it comes out of it as I'm painting it, you know what I mean? Like the meaning behind it comes out of it.
How would you describe a real life situation that you put into your work? If you don't mind me asking.
There's this, as far as painting, or just
as far as painting, even music.
Painting, there was, I don't know, I can't even think of a painting right now.
You got so many of them.
Yeah, not so many, but I got a few. Damn. So how can I? All right, so me and Terrence made a film a few years ago, and Terrence's idea was to put like portraits of the kids in the background. I mean, in the back of the film, to give this perspective of like the reason why we're making the entire film. So there was a kid that was a 10-year-old kid named Merv who got shot in our neighborhood, and then that whole film kind of like stormed on that idea and that concept. But so we put the portraits in the back, and it's just like a brief summary, but we put the portraits in the back to give the audience a perspective on LeMerv by showing kids that he grew up with, and showing like who they are, and humanizing the kids, you know? And just like not letting people like get away with it, just being like, oh, it was a kid that got shot, you know what I mean? You taking kids who are alive and seeing the beauty in them, and then seeing the beauty in LeMerv, and just being like, damn, his life got taken away from him. So I choose to paint like 3 of the kids, and just like a plain shot or a plain portrait of them, and that gives you that is something that's real, that happened, but it's just like giving you a perspective on these kids too. And rather than it being a video and it leaving you in a matter of a few seconds, like the painting is going to stay there. You got to look at the kid in his face, you know what I mean? So that is one perspective on something that happened for real. Also, I painted a kid named Little Richard who got killed the same day, and that also, that's a real thing, but it's like some shit that happened for real, you know what I mean? That happens inside our community on the daily. And I'm just like willing to tell those stories, because I feel like this shit shouldn't be ignored, because if we don't say something about it, nothing is going to change. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? We can also go at kids who are doing the killing, but we need to come together as a community to try to figure out what the fuck is going on. You
Yeah,
know what I
exactly.
mean? To try to bring it down to our level.
Mhm.
So that is just like one situation that I wanted to speak on. As far as like painting the kids, you know what I mean? So that's the situation that happened for real.
But it's just that's why I was saying earlier. It's like our jobs. I
Yeah.
feel like we have a special mission.
Right.
Even though we do art, even though it's not like we in the politics, but I feel like our community will, even though it's still like kind of hard to interpret our art and to our people to realize what we're doing.
Right.
I feel like it's a stepping stone for us to put our art out and to tell people like, look, this is what is going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because if we don't, as artists, if we don't express our art in a certain type of way, it's not gonna do anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To
Right.
let people know this is what's really going on.
Right.
And that's why I kind of like when I photograph my subjects in the hood, I just like I'm showing the people from the outside looking in, this is what's really going on. And I tell people like, to you guys, this might be fun and dandy, but this is what's really going on.
Right.
You don't understand what I gotta go through to photograph these people.
Right.
I'm risking my life in a
Right.
sense, because if anything come to shove,
you inside of these communities.
Exactly. Shit could anything could happen in a split second. So that's why I try to tell people like, you don't understand what we go through in that aspect, and I know you probably go through the same thing in that sense. But
I think for artists, it's our responsibility. Well, I'm gonna speak for artists in general and art, like my art. People really don't. You determine what your responsibility is as an artist. Like, if you want to talk about fucking bitches and doing all this shit and your music, bro, do that. Like, because if that's the life you live,
that's the life
you probably gonna give a perspective that's gonna be different from the next man. You know what I mean? You probably be talking about fucking bitches or whatever, but how girls react or how boys react in certain situations when you're in the bed with them, like, you can be like, yo, I was talking to this one girl. I thought she was just like a dumb broad.
Yeah.
But I got her number easy and I got with her easy, but she really smart or whatever it is. Like, you might not have no intentions by that. You might not be trying to change the world or whatever. But somebody might take that and be like, damn, I didn't even know that. You know what I mean? Or somebody who don't fuck bitches or whatever. So it's just like you determine what you want out of it, and then make it honest. You know what I mean? But for me, it's just like, for the people who I'm influenced by, they changed my life by telling me what it is that's going on in certain areas.
Yeah.
So it can be like a nigga like Kendrick that's telling you exactly what's going on in this neighborhood and like how he feels about it, and I can be like, yo, I'm all the way on the other side, and I'm like, I feel the same way. You know what I mean? So it lets you know that you're not really going through this by yourself or alone, that you have somebody that's over there that's going through the same thing, but they're trying to wing their way through it, and I'm trying to do the same thing. So it's just like, I feel like it's my responsibility to do that, and especially it's my responsibility to give people that are coming up after me or like kids and shit, to try to give them insight to not go that path or go certain paths, because I seen it happen before and I know what's going to happen in the end. Rather, if you learn or not, it's not saying my life is better than yours, but I just know that that's a destructive path or whatever it is, and I'm going to try to give you insight and not try to be preachy, but be like real about it. You know what I mean? So I think that's one of my responsibilities, to try to say something important and say how I feel. Also, rather if I'm wrong or right, it's how I feel. Because like my belief can change. You know what I mean?
Exactly. What would you say, or what would you say that was a challenge for you as being an upcoming artist? Are you still dealing with it right now?
Self-doubt, I think. Thinking that because where I'm from and like how I wasn't like raised doing painting, and how I wasn't doing it like as a kid and I didn't know too much, and then going to Spain and seeing like all these people like really like taking this shit serious, and like not taking it serious, but like that this is what they've been doing for a long time, and they had a clear vision on this is what they wanted, and thinking I didn't have the same passion for it, or I didn't have the same qualities that they had. And yeah, just like shit like that, or just like thinking that my work isn't good enough, or people appreciate it or not. Shit like that. I think that's everybody.
Yeah, it's crazy that you say that, because, you know, I ain't know that to this right now, and I'm like, I go through the same exact thing. It's like, am I good enough? Am I like, you know, it's people that's doing like, they in certain positions or whatever. Like, am I even like qualified to do that? But then, you know, you got some people that looks at your work and just like, man, that's hard. But it's like, to you, it's like, is it really? Like, you know what I'm saying? You have to ask your friends, like, yo, like yesterday, I had to hit up my homegirl. I was like, yo, all right, take care. I had to ask my homegirl, like, yo, like, how you feel about this picture? What you think? What do you think people would, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And it's like, because it's like, damn, like, is my shit really that good?
Right.
So I understand that 100%, man.
But it's new battles that come all the time. So it's like, I'm not going through that now to think like, oh, these people in Spain are painting better than me, or whatever it is that they're doing. Whatever. They just have their own way of going through things, and they've been raised a different way, and they had a different upbringing than me. And I'm not talking about like being raised like as far as the neighborhood, or whatever, or just like culturally. I mean like just the way we approach art and painting. Like our perspectives are different, and I have an understanding of that. And they have shit that they want to talk about in painting and the way they paint, and I do too. So it's just owning that shit and just being like, all right, I'm gonna take painting and I'm gonna try to do the best I can with it, but I'm gonna also try to speak from my own life inside of painting, and nobody can do that because it's my story, you know what I mean? So, and then I'm gonna do it however it is I want to do it. So just me being like, all right, this is it, you know what I mean? This is defeating that doubt, that self-doubt in that aspect, but different self-doubt is gonna come. Like my solo show, I'm just like, is it good enough? You know what I mean? Like, what did I do? Everything I possibly could have. But like after the fact, I thought of that before the fact. Then after the fact, people were telling me how they felt about it, and I'm just like, shit. Like, I had no idea. Like, it was good enough. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, like I was talking to Terrence one time. Well, he was telling me, he was just like, somebody had mentioned, he was a big artist. He was like, when you do your shows, make sure you travel or just have your alone time, because all that stress that comes after the show, and you just overthink, like, you know what I'm saying? Like how you say, like, is it really that good? Like, you know, they say like either travel, like, you know, I make sure I travel, you know, sometimes, just because I know, like, if you get a different perspective around the world, it just like triggers like, okay, damn, like, this is the other side of the world. Might probably get inspired, you know, and put that into my work, or put that into my life and stuff like that. But by even talking about traveling, like, do you? And I seen that you do murals all over the world, and you've been to Spain, shit. You've been to other places around the world I can't even name. I can't probably even pronounce. But do you prefer doing murals or working with canvases, or painting on canvases? I would rather say. And why?
I think I enjoy both of them at the same amount. I also get tired of both of them at the same time. It all depends on like what I'm trying to convey and how I want the viewer to see it, and also if I haven't did one or the other for a while. Like before I went to like Portland, I did 3 murals in Portland. I did one in Portland, I did one in LA, and I did one in Seattle.
Wow.
And before doing them shits, I was just doing straight canvas work, and I didn't do no murals. And I'm just like, shit, bro, I want to do a mural so bad. because I miss the feeling of being like outside and painting and listening to music and being high in the air and shit, and just like whatever it is, and just not being so concealed.
Yeah.
Inside of like a room, just painting a little ass painting. And then when I did those 3 murals, I was just like, bro, this shit is tiring.
Yeah,
Like, I don't want to do another mural in a while. But it just varies on which one I did.
But how does that, like, I always wonder from my point of view, like, how do you even, like, get that little piece of paper, you look at the piece of paper of your artwork, and then put that in a big ass form? Like, how does that even work?
It's a method. It's like I can use Photoshop to overlay like the photo on the wall and then paint it like that. But some people like project the image from the computer and project it so the sketch can be right. It's different ways. Or some people like freehand it.
I don't know how they do that, man. I give it to y'all, cause me, I be trying to draw, but it's like y'all be
that shit. It just take practice, bro.
Yeah.
It just take it really takes practice.
Yeah,
like
it does.
I can't be like, yo, I do this shit and I'm so talented because I just got the gift and whatever it is. Like, I literally like work hard as fuck, like getting up until this point, like for 5 years. Like, my mentor like was on my ass. Like, I was just going to his house every day to paint, and like not even like thinking that it's gonna be anything, you know what I mean? Just like, this is just being something that I'm interested in, and I'm like, oh, this is really cool and I like it. And just going to his house every day and him teaching me every day and busting my ass every day, and then reaching the point to where I felt like I needed to get better, and then taking it even further, you know what I mean? So it's just like continuous amount of like work and non-stop and consistency, to where I got to a point to where I am now. And that's just like what's going to take me to the next level is through more than what I've done in the past, you know what I mean?
That's why, like, when I'm experiencing stuff, like, you know, different type of ventures, as in, like, for instance, like, I'll, you know, do mixes or try to DJ or do try to even do like artwork. Like, I wouldn't even call myself that, because I feel like I'm disrespecting the people that really do this shit for a living. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I tell people, before you even say that you are, learn the basics.
Or put them hours in.
Put that work in. Like, just like your primary craft, you gonna put that work in. But before you even say you're that, you know, work on it. I tell people that a lot. I can't.
But I also think it's personal too. Like, man, if you want to be this, don't expect for shit amazing to come out of it so fast. Like, you gotta put the work in.
Exactly.
You gotta earn whatever it is that you want. You know what I mean? So if you don't have that mindset, that shit gonna break you early as fuck. Cause once you don't get whatever it is that you want, you're gonna be like, man, fuck this shit. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's all personal. Like, if you want $1 million and that's all you give a fuck about is the money, then try to market yourself to getting $1 million. Like, or try to make some shit that everybody gonna like and make it bubblegum, and then make more bubblegum, and then make $1 million.
I always say that when you are, like, if you're trying to experience a craft and you think about the money first of the craft, then you fucked up. Because it's like, you're not really doing it. Right? You're not really doing it for the artistry. You're not really doing it genuine. So you're just doing that for the timing of, like, what's the word I'm looking for? The hype, the fad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always say, like, the people that really do this is gonna have a longevity of, like, the artistry, or just in general, like, of life. I was discussing with the last episode with Forbes. I was just saying, like, how this, I wouldn't even say a generational thing, but, like, in today's society, everything is oversaturated with everything. Like, I feel like everything that people from, like, the early 2010s, like the 2014s, around that time span, I feel like we kind of sacrificed of what we wanted to do into what it is today. You know what I'm saying? Because everything is everybody want to do this, which it ain't no problem. Do that, but, like, don't do it for the money. Don't do it for the hype. Just do it genuinely. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think like I said before, it's all personal. Like you do whatever it is that you want to do with it. Just as a person, like speaking on like you or just like me or anybody else who really give a fuck about the craft.
Yeah.
You do it for the craft. You know what I mean? Like you do it for the craft. You study. If you like every aspect of it, that's what you do it for, and that's all you do it for. Exactly. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people who care about the craft a lot, they get mad at people who do it for money and do it for clout, and it's like, who gives a fuck? That's them. That's their life. Yeah. Like they probably want that because they ain't have enough attention, or they probably want that because that it makes them feel equal to what it makes you feel. Yeah. So it's like, why am I focusing on the next man about why he do something? Like, exactly. I don't give a fuck about why he do something. I know why I do something, and I don't care if I'm not getting the shine that I want. It's just like, what is if I'm not getting the shine, then and I'm mad about that, and it's like, what do I really want? Exactly. Do I care about the craft, or do I want niggas to be like, yo, shit is amazing and this and this and that? I want niggas to be on my ball sack about some shit, or I want hoes really because of my craft. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just like, I'm gonna do whatever it is I want. If I care about something to that extent, like every aspect of that shit is fun to me, and it's inspiring, and it feeds me. So it's just like, why the fuck am I worrying about the next one? I'm like, why he do something? I don't care.
I had a discussion with my homeboy yesterday, and he talked about, man, I just feel like, certain individuals are trying to like, do the shit you already done. I'm like, bro, like, I'm not even worried about that. Like by you telling me that, I'm just finding that out. Like, I'm in my own lane. It's people that got to tell me on what other people talk about me to understand. Like, I'm like,
for it to get to you.
Yeah, like I'm focused on what my brand stands for, and I'm worried about what the homies, are doing or whatever. But at the end of the day, I gotta focus on me before I even worry about the next man. But back on track on the on your art. What would you say you're most proud of your work? Like, which piece are you most proud of your
like one painting?
Yeah, or it could be a couple. I know that's hard.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a piece that I did of this angel that's praying. It's like this little glass like figure. And it was my sister's idea first to paint it, and we were supposed to paint it together. And when I painted it, I was just like, damn, this shit, I like it. You know what I mean? Like, that was one painting that I felt like super attached to, and that I really was proud of the outcome of it. And I'm just like, shit, I think this is amazing. I think I did a really good job. And that's one painting out of 11 that I had inside of the entire show that I like. So I would say that painting that I did in France.
Wow.
Of me digging like in a dope bag, and on the side of it is like the small dope bag. I'm like really proud of that painting. Which one else? The one I did with Dawson and Terrence.
Oh wow. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know.
You didn't know that was Dawson and Terrence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That one. The one I did with my sister.
The one in the
hospital.
In the hospital. Yeah, I was looking at it earlier. I was like, wow.
Yeah, that shit is crazy. That one.
What about the King Carter one with Blaze?
I felt like that shit was real powerful.
Yeah.
But I felt like where I was at it as a painter, like technically it wasn't that good, that up to par. Now, I was really proud of it at the moment, but like now I look at it, it's just like old work, and I'm just like, shit, I could have did this better.
Could have tweaked this.
Yeah. But I thought it was really powerful. I think it was urgent too. Yeah, I like that one too, because of the message, and the concept behind it, and who it's for and what it's for. It's a few. It's a few that I really like. I really enjoy. The painting I did of I did 2 portraits that I never shared. I did 2 portraits of this kid, this mugshot, and the way those came out was really dope too. It's a few of them. It's a few.
What are the pros and cons of being a black painter in the art game?
I don't think I experienced the pros and cons yet.
Not yet.
Nah, I really don't know. I don't know how people go about me being a black painter or whatever. I never heard like nothing about like what the art world perceives of me as a black painter. So nothing really. I just think I'm a painter, and I'm just so focused on like
in your own lane.
Yeah, in my own lane, and just focus on what I have to offer as far as a artist coming from 20th Street and Overtown, and being raised by my parents, and like how I'm gonna try to tell my story to everybody else, and that's all I really care about, really.
Yeah, that's how I feel in the photography field too. Like, you know, even though I'm not the norm, and I feel like I'm not the norm, but it's like I get all types of love and with any type of race in the game. How do you feel when you travel all over the world for your art, coming from where we come from?
Yeah.
And also, you know, knowing the people that's not able to see past their hood or past their like block, you know what I'm saying, or even past their county. How does that feel in your point of view, traveling all over the world? And just having that mindset, like, damn, like, boy, like, I'm blessed to be here.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's weird as fuck, man, because, like, it's just, like I said again, I'm, like, not focused on myself, but just, like, really taking a lot of shit in for myself, because I'm the one that's experiencing a lot of stuff. And I'm just, like, what I think of it is just, like, man, this shit is so beautiful, man. Like, I would love for my friends or just anybody to do it, because I feel like it's one of the most important aspects of, like, life.
Yeah.
It's like a gift, you know what I mean? Like, if God was to give you something, he'd be like, yo, I give you an airplane so you can travel wherever the fuck you want to travel. Yeah. And a lot of people from other places in life don't even have the resources to travel, you know what I mean? We got all the resources. Yeah. And people are not doing it, but they don't realize how important it is. I think it's so fascinating to be traveling places and, like, eating different foods and like, all that shit. Seeing, like, even just the way buildings are built, you know what I mean? They're
the
just
architecture,
different, bro. It's just different. And I think to see that for your own self it changes, like, a little bit about yourself. Yeah. And it gives you a different perspective on life, you know what I mean? It shows you what to appreciate and what you think about your own life and your own surroundings, and it makes you, I think it makes me appreciate where I'm from a lot more too. Yeah. And you carry where you come from wherever you go. It's wherever I go, it's like, cause sometimes it feels like, damn, you the chosen one sometimes. Right. And it's like, while you go into these different places, it's just like, damn, like, I gotta put my hood on, man. Right. Like, but it's not even that. It's just like, man, you basically telling your own story, so you putting yourself on, because you ain't got no other story to tell. Exactly. Like, so, and you inspiring your hood, like, bro, you could do this shit too. You know what I'm saying? I could tell you the story. Like, I went to San Francisco, like, literally last year, and I was in the Golden Gate Bridge hiking, and I just seen, like, nothing. I only see, like, probably, like, one person that looked like me. Right. And I'm just like, damn. Right. It's like, damn, boy, like, this shit is like a culture shock. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and just seeing, like, me high up in the fucking mountain and just seeing the Golden Gate Bridge right there, and my people, and I even experience it. And even, like, even, like, I'm like the first person, like, one of the first person out of my family to go to the Bay Area, like, or go to LA, or even the West Coast, and that shit just like, damn. Not even I'm like, I'm 23 or 22 at the time, and I'm like, damn, like, I'm 22. I went to
the West Coast before my mom.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right.
Like, I just it gives me the chill sometimes.
Yeah.
When
My
I think about
mom,
it.
my mom always say that shit. She always just be like, "You so young and like you be moving around so much and you've been to places that I didn't even think about going." And my dad say the same shit too. Like, I remember my dad giving me this conversation about like, asking me like, I forgot what we were talking about, and then he asked me like, where do you think I'm going? And I'm like, he was like, where can I go? Cause he in prison right now. And he's just like, I can't go nowhere. He's like, your mom is not going nowhere. Your mom is probably like stuck in that mentality of being in where she's at. And he was just like, you have to like go wherever the fuck your heart desires and wherever it takes you, because of your parents can't do it. And that's something that always stuck with me. So I'm never like thinking of like concealing myself and thinking there's no place I can't go. You know what I mean? Because I have all the resources to do so.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why the fuck not? You know what I mean? So I think it's really, really important to travel, bro. And not even to be like, oh, I want to do this so my homeboys can do it. Like, that's not your responsibility for you to make them do something or make them get inspired. You just got to do you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because that shit's going to go a long way. You know what I mean? Like, maybe your homeboys or your immediate friends are not going to think of it like that, or think like, damn, he's trying to do this for us to travel. It's going to be some kid that you don't even know that's going to be inspired by your shit and be like, I'm going to do all this stuff. So that shit, you just got to do you and not have none of that shit in mind. You know
because the homies, they gon' like, they might not even like adapt to it real quick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of hard because, you try to do this, but there's so much you could do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's not even like, I look at it's not even like you're doing something better than them.
No,
it's just
at all.
that
No.
not better than them, or it's just different. Like, you just got a different mindset.
Yeah.
You just like, I want to travel. And I want to see this and I want to see that. And if they're if they don't believe in that and they don't think to themselves like, oh, I want to travel and whatever it is, and they trying to make whatever it is possible for them to do.
Because they got to help themselves.
Yeah, they got to help themselves, but also they can still do it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, if they don't put that first, then it's not gonna happen. It's just like somebody trying to figure out what they want to do in their life. If they don't take the time out to try to figure that out, then it's not gonna happen. They gotta make the decision rather than you feeling like you're pressured to influence them to do something.
Exactly.
You just gotta do you. You know what I mean?
Let's talk about your film. I believe it came out 2015. How did your film Summer Before Spring Ends come about?
I was gonna make an EP, like a music project. It was gonna be like 5 songs or some shit like that, and I was telling Terrence about it, and he was like, "All right, cool." And I was saying that we should make I think we should make a video about it, or make not a film. We should make videos. And he was like, "All right." Then he thought of like making a zine. I didn't know what the fuck a zine was.
Me too.
Like,
especially around that time.
At that moment, I was like, "All right, whatever," but I didn't know what a zine was. And it just so happened, I think he came up with the idea to just do a full film about it. But I didn't have like all the songs like properly recorded or whatever, and like all the beats and shit. So I just did like the words, and then we just sat down and thought about like what we were going to shoot, as far as like what it is that I'm saying and how we're going to convey all of this shit through video. So we just started shooting kind of everything, that most of the shit that I was saying inside of the poetry, and yeah,
that makes sense. That makes sense of why you were rapping in between the film, because it was like you called me when the opening and when you was in your hood, and then you woke up, and then I believe you was rapping after you woke up, right? I'm trying to get back to it. And then that's just I'm thinking like, okay, it's just gonna just be visuals, and then next thing you know you rapping. I'm like, oh shit, and you gotta really listen to what you're saying,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And that's what it made me like, okay, I'm looking at it, in the whole video at first, but then I'm like, let me replay it and hear what he's saying. I'm like, damn. I'm picturing everything what it is on 20th Street and then everything in Wynwood. Then, you know, you talking about like, oh, we can't make there because it's traffic. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it just like, that aspect was just amazing. And I feel like you guys did something very different. And I love, as, you know, me being your friend and, you know, Terrence being my friend as well, just seeing you guys doing like submitting into like, you know, different festivals and stuff like that. And that's just crazy. And just seeing like how you guys just came up with it, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I think we didn't even realize like the impact of it. I think we just thought it was cool. Like, we were really proud of it when it came out, but we didn't know how other people felt about it. And then when we started getting the love, like, it was just like, oh shit. But that's when I was just like, we need to make another film. We need to make an even better film, because now I can't really watch the entire thing without premiering.
Yeah, I can understand why you said that, because at that time I was just experimenting.
Yeah, we was really experimenting with this like camera that I had, but now we have got so much better at our craft, and like we have to get way better for like what we envision. But we have gotten better to where I feel like we can do a lot better than what we did with that film.
One of my favorite paintings by you, it's called Outside. What's the storyline behind that? And that, you know what I'm saying? Like, what was the storyline behind that?
That is a photo of a friend of mine named Kareem, I think. That's his dad, and they friends like hanging around in Overtown. And I think they playing cards on the trunk of the car. Yeah. I think the cars are like dominoes or some shit like that. But they just like chilling. You know what I mean? And that is something that is like super common. Like, you taking like just a snapshot of everyday life.
It feel like I'm there. Like, I'm looking at it right
exactly.
now.
Like, you looking at it, right?
I'm just like, well, it's like around the block when them boys be out.
Right, exactly. So that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
It ain't really no story behind it. It's just they outside, they're chilling. You know what I mean? Playing cards.
And by looking at that photo, you know, from people that's not from around there, they just looking, they not understanding the dynamics of it. But this is what really goes on, and that's what I like about it, for the outside looking in perspective. You know, I just seen that you just left from the West Coast. It was, I believe, in Portland, right?
Yeah.
How was your show over there?
It was great, man. To be honest, I be trying to find words to explain it.
The West Coast different now. Like.
Yeah, I like it, but it's like the Pacific Northwest is different too.
Oh yeah,
like being like a little bit north of LA and just like Southern California, it feels different. Like the trees and like the nature is real different. So
the air.
It's not city like it's not real big city like. So yeah, the show was great though, man. It was a great turnout. A lot of people were really affected by it. I think a lot of people really felt it. I put a lot of work into it. I was like really satisfied with it, and like the person Gage, really appreciate him, and like for even like having me to like show during his shit. I mean, in his gallery, because I think he found like a passion for my work and a belief in my work that I didn't even know existed outside of like people who told me. I just thought like the people that I know and I've met on occasions that they like my work, but didn't think that somebody else would be like, yo, I have a gallery all the way in Portland and I want you to show in it because I feel this and this and that. You know what I mean? I feel like it's important, whatever. Like, so it's real humbling, man, I think. And also to see people react to my work is just like,
from all the way West
all
Coast.
The way over there. It's weird.
Yeah.
Cause I think it's because it's humane. Like, you know what I mean? I'm really telling you exactly my perspective, and it's not weird enough to where it get lost. You know what I mean? And I think I did it. I did it with a good intention, and I tried to do my best at painting. And people felt that, you know what I mean? I tried to tell my story as honest as possible. So I think people resonated with that.
What are you got any current projects you're working on right now?
Nope.
No?
I'm work like working on a film with Terrence, like just writing for it, working on his voice space. I want to like do like some coffee here, like on the side. I got a show in the Mocha, collective show.
Wow, that's,
in the
that's
Mocha.
how you feel about that?
Cool, man. I think it's gonna be dope. It's from a grant that I got that we're gonna be announcing like later on in this year. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I'm making music, trying to make music, trying to like stay warm in this music shit because that's something I really have a passion for it too. Yeah.
So, I'm got a couple questions for you, and then we're going to end it. You got any advice that you would give an aspiring artist that's trying to come up in the game?
Something that my mentor always told me was to make sure your shit is, like, undeniably good. Like, all that fame and shit don't matter. That shit comes and goes, like money and all that shit. Just make sure your shit is like undeniably good and like make sure your craft is like well, and that comes with like studying and like studying people who came before you, keeping an eye on what's now and like being true to yourself, being true to like your own craft and shit, and telling your story. I think is important for anybody. Like once you find a way to say your shit or say whatever it is you want to say your story. Or to say whatever, then I think the next step is to tell your story, because nobody has heard your story and you might not think it's interesting, but it's interesting to some people. So I think that's important for up and coming artists, and just enjoy this shit. Like enjoy every aspect of it. Don't get too frustrated. Even if you might get frustrated, but just like know that it's gonna be a relief in the end.
Keep calm.
Yeah, keep calm. And then once you become calm, there's gonna be some other shit that's gonna come that's gonna make you even frustrated. But that comes with like learning that that's a never-ending process, or it's a never-ending journey of like frustration and like being calm and shit. Be true to yourself.
Being a creative ain't easy. I tell people that.
It ain't. But the shit is like
it's fun though.
As hell.
It's fun. It ain't your typical vibe.
Yeah, it ain't. Like once you in a frustrating moment, and then you just like working through it, and once you get through it, you gonna miss those moments when shit becomes super easy. You gonna be like, shit, like I want it to be hard again. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of like going through the process and going through the motion. It's all a part of the journey.
One last question. Who's your? I don't want to say top 3 because I usually do that because it's a hard. I know this is a hard question, but who's your top artist of all time? Dead or alive? Yeah. Art wise.
On art wise.
Yeah. Wait, one art and then one music. I know the music gonna be hard, but
art wise. I don't motherfucking know, bro. As far as a painter is Sorolla. It's a Spanish artist. He's an impressionist, and he was painting during the 1900s.
Wow.
Or no, not the 1900s, 20th century. Favorite painter, like hands down. Everybody who know me know that's my favorite painter. And music wise, I would say Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
Frank is my biggest, like, one of my biggest, like, musicians. Yeah, people who know me know.
I already know. That's why I said, yeah.
Frank and Kendrick, I would say.
Oh, yeah, definitely Kendrick. I already know this fool loves Kendrick. We always talk about it.
Kendrick, my dog, man. That's my big brother.
Where can the people get a hold of you?
Through Instagram, bro. I gotta get my website back up.
I know I was on your website. I'm like, dog, this thing haven't updated in years.
I be slacking, bro.
Nah, I be like that though.
Yeah, but I think I need to fill it with more content and just like be like serious about it, and not like lollygag. Just Instagram l.e.other, and my Facebook just got fucking crashed. My shit just crashed, so I just started a new one.
Oh wow.
So I had just got the same name, Reginald O'Neal, and that's it. Yeah.
Well,
In Void Projects, you can find me here.
yeah, downtown Miami.
Yeah.
Well, this is episode 18. I thank you for having us.
For sure.
You know, this is episode 18 of Behind the Beard, and we out.